Hi, I'm Commander Elias Thorne, and right now I am strapped to what is essentially a controlled explosion. 400 tons of rocket fuel, 8 minutes to orbit, and my crewmate Marcus just asked if anyone packed hot sauce. This is my life. I'm up here with three of the finest minds I've ever had the privilege of embarrassing myself in front of. To my left is Dr. Sarah Chen. I'm Dagim the German, lead NASA scientist, specialist in regenerative medicine, and the only person on this crew who actually understood the pre-flight biology briefing. Behind me is Marcus, our flight engineer. He is part pilot, part plumber, and 100% the guy you want when something is leaking at 17,500 miles per hour. And next to him is Chloe, a materials scientist who's going to spend the next 6 months melting metal in midair for science. Yes, that's a real job. Yes, I'm a little jealous. Together, the four of us are heading to the International Space Station, and I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like, from launch to lights out. Let me describe a rocket launch to you honestly, because the movies get it completely wrong. It doesn't feel heroic. It feels like the world's largest washing machine swallowed you whole and set itself to spin cycle. The vibration starts in your chest, then it's in your teeth, and then it's in thoughts you were having about your taxes back home. Everything rattles. The noise, even inside the capsule with your helmet on, is a deep, physical roar that you feel more than you hear. And then, about 8 minutes later, it stops. The engine cuts, the vibration disappears, and everything goes quiet. And you realize you are not sitting in your seat anymore. You are hovering an inch above it. Your arms float up on their own. Your checklist drifts off your knee. Crumbs from a granola bar someone snuck on board become their own tiny solar system. That's the moment. That's when your brain, despite all the training, all the simulations, all the years of preparation, says, oh, this is actually happening. Welcome to the International Space Station. I know what you were expecting. You were expecting something out of a science fiction film. Clean white corridors, holographic displays, maybe a robot that brings you coffee. What you get instead is this. A 20-year-old laboratory the size of a 6-bedroom house, orbiting Earth at 250 miles up, crammed wall-to-wall with cables, experiment racks, food pouches, spare parts, and the accumulated stuff of dozens of crews who lived here before us. It smells like a combination of ozone, old metal, and antiseptic. Kind of like a hospital that someone also stored welding equipment in. There are no empty corners. Every surface has something strapped to it. And strapped is the operative word up here. If you don't strap it down, it will float away and you will spend 20 minutes chasing it. Day 1. Marcus lost his pen. We found it 3 days later, lodged in an air vent. He's never forgiven himself. 6 a.m. The alarm goes off. In space, waking up is a philosophical experience because there is no up, there is no down, there is no morning light creeping through the curtains because we see 16 sunrises every single day. 16. The sun rises every 90 minutes up here, and none of them wait for you to be ready. I sleep in a sleeping bag attached to the wall of my crew cabin. It's about the size of a wardrobe. If I don't anchor myself, I'll drift out in the middle of the night and wake up face first against an air intake vent. That happened to me on day 3. I don't talk about day 3. Now, hygiene. This is where space gets interesting. Forget a hot shower. Forget a cold shower. Forget water touching your body in any way that you would describe as refreshing. I use waterless shampoo, rinseless soap, and a damp cloth. You squeeze a glob of water onto your skin, and it just stays there. It wobbles like a tiny jellyfish on your arm. You pat it around, you do your best. You declare yourself clean and move on with your life. Toothpaste, you swallow it. Yes, you swallow it. We use an edible rinseless toothpaste because spitting in microgravity means the toothpaste blob F floats around until it lands on something, and that something is usually someone's face. We learned this the hard way. I will not say whose face. Good morning, everyone. By 7 a.m., we have the Morning Planning Conference. NASA calls it the MDPC because NASA has an acronym for absolutely everything. We tag up simultaneously with mission control centers in Houston, Munich, and Tsukuba, Japan. 3 cities, 3 time zones, 1 very long to-do list. We're a team of scientists and engineers. We have PhDs, military training, and hundreds of hours of spaceflight experience between us. And for these 20 minutes, we are 4 employees on a conference call with our bosses, 150 miles below. They tell us about system alerts, schedule changes, whether any space debris might be drifting too close. It's remarkably normal. Someone asks about the water recycler
All right, updating
filter.
the archive.
Someone
Can't
else
let these notes get
confirms a
disorganized.
science experiment timeline. Marcus takes notes. Chloe yawns. The only difference from your average Monday morning meeting is that if something goes really wrong here, we cannot just leave the building. 8 a.m. The real work begins. And I want to be very clear about this. We are not up here to float around and look out the window. Science is the entire point. We spend somewhere between 5 and 7 hours every single day as lab technicians, maintenance engineers, and occasionally plumbers. Sarah right now is working with the Kermit microscope, a high-resolution research microscope for examining cell cultures. She's studying how human cells regenerate in microgravity. The hope is that what we learn up here could eventually help treat bone disease, muscle wasting, and aging back on Earth. She does this work with more focus and precision than most people bring to anything in their lives. She is remarkable. She is also the only one of us who consistently finishes her tasks ahead of schedule, which makes the rest of us look bad, and I have raised this concern with Houston twice. Meanwhile, Chloe is running the EML, the electromagnetic levitator. Let me explain what that is, because it sounds like something from a superhero film, and it's actually more impressive than that. She is melting metal samples in mid-air using magnetic fields, no container, no gravity holding the material in place, to study how metals behave when they solidify. Research that is physically impossible to do on Earth because gravity always interferes. This is why we come up here. This exact thing. And then there's Marcus. Marcus is the plumber. Today, the ISS is a 20-year-old structure, and it demands constant love and attention. About 2 to 3 hours of every day goes to maintenance. Today, Marcus has his arm inside a panel in the wall, checking the water recovery system. Now, the water recovery system deserves a moment of respect because it is a genuine marvel of engineering. It takes every drop of moisture on this station, humidity from the air, sweat from our exercise sessions, condensation from the walls, and it recycles it back into clean, drinkable water, 93% recovery rate. It also processes our urine, which means, and I want you to sit with this, the water I am drinking right now was, at some point, someone else's problem. As we say on the ISS, yesterday's coffee is tomorrow's coffee. You're welcome. You'd think that after a hard morning of science and plumbing and general heroism, you'd want something comforting, something homey, a proper meal, and you do want that. Your brain wants it desperately. The problem is that in microgravity, all the fluids in your body shift upward toward your head. Your face puffs slightly, you feel permanently like you have a mild head cold. And that stuffed up feeling, it dulls your taste buds. Everything tastes flatter, milder, like someone turned the volume down on food. So we all instinctively reach for the strongest, spiciest things we can find. Hot curry, extra strength mustard, sriracha on things that should not have sriracha on them. Marcus once put hot sauce on a cookie. I didn't say anything. We're a team. Food comes in vacuum-sealed pouches, rehydratable packets, add water, wait, eat. Some things are thermostabilized. There are over 300 food options officially, but after a few weeks, you've eaten through your favorites twice, and you start eyeing your crewmates' food pouches with increasing interest. Chloe had a Tex-Mex scramble this morning that smelled incredible. We have not discussed it. But we will. We always eat together though. Even when we're exhausted, even when the schedule is tight. Morale matters up here just as much as oxygen. Sitting together, or floating together technically, and talking like human beings for 20 minutes is genuinely important for keeping everyone sane. Houston actually tracks crew psychology. They know this. All right, this is the part nobody warns you about quite enough. Exercise. In space, exercise is not a lifestyle choice. It is not self-improvement. It is not me time. It is a medical requirement because your body, in microgravity, begins to believe that bones and muscles are completely unnecessary. Your skeleton starts to dissolve, not metaphorically, literally. About 1% of your bone density disappears every single month up here. So we fight back. 2 to 2.5 hours, 6 days a week, non-negotiable. I spend 45 minutes on the AIRD, the Advanced Resistive Exercise Device. It uses vacuum cylinders to simulate weight resistance, because up here, a 200-pound barbell weighs absolutely nothing. You can't do actual weightlifting in zero gravity. The air tricks your body into thinking it's lifting heavy things. Your body is skeptical, but ultimately goes along with it. Then I moved to the T2 treadmill, affectionately nicknamed the Colbert, after the TV host who helped fund it. To run on a treadmill in microgravity, I wear a harness with bungee cords that press me down onto the belt. Otherwise, I just float away while running, which would look ridiculous and also not work. The bungee cords pull you down, you run, you sweat. And this is the other thing nobody mentions, the sweating. In zero gravity, sweat does not drip off you. It has nowhere to go. It just pools. It forms a wobbling dome on your forehead, your arms, your back. You run, and this warm, expanding puddle of effort just grows on your skin while you watch it happen. You finish with a towel, it absorbs, you move on, you never speak of it. Then there's the Cevis, the cycling ergometer, a stationary bike with no seat because you don't need a seat when gravity isn't pushing you down. You just float in front of the pedals and cycle. It looks absolutely ridiculous. I do it anyway because my femur would like to survive this mission. On some days, the schedule changes completely. If something on the outside of the station needs attention, a failing solar panel, a new antenna unit, a cable that needs routing, we suit up and go outside. This is called an EVA, an extravehicular activity, also known as a spacewalk, also known as the most intensely terrifying and beautiful thing a human being can do. But before you even step outside, you spend 4 to 8 hours just breathing. Specifically, breathing pure oxygen at reduced pressure to flush all the nitrogen out of your bloodstream. Because if you go from the ISS's normal pressure directly into the lower pressure of the spacesuit, nitrogen bubbles form in your blood. That's called the bends. It will kill you. So you sit and breathe and wait. And try not to think about the fact that in a few hours, you'll be floating outside a spacecraft moving at 17,500 miles per hour with only a suit between you and the vacuum of space. The EMU spacesuit, the extravehicular mobility unit, is not a suit. It is a one-person spacecraft, 14 layers of material, Kevlar, aluminized mylar, temperature-resistant fabrics. It handles temperatures that swing from negative 250 SF in the shade to positive 250 SF in direct sunlight. Inside it, you're comfortable. Outside it, you'd be dead in seconds. Every single tool must be tethered to you at all times. Every single one. If you drop a wrench out there, it doesn't fall. It just keeps going. At 17,500 miles per hour, in the same orbit as the station, where it becomes a high-velocity projectile capable of punching straight through a spacecraft module. We tie everything down. The actual work during a spacewalk, replacing hardware, installing equipment, taking scientific swabs of the station's exterior, typically takes 6 to 7 hours. The average spacewalk is 6.5 hours long. And the whole time, Earth is rotating beneath you. Oceans, continents, cloud systems, all of it drifting past, impossibly vivid, impossibly vast. It is the loneliest and most connected feeling I have ever had. By 7:30 p.m., we have the EPDC, the Evening Planning Conference. Same idea as the morning, but now we're reporting back. What got done, what didn't, what needs to be rescheduled, what Marcus accidentally dropped into a vent. The days are long. 13 to 15 hours of focused, purposeful work. Every hour planned, every task documented. Ground control tracks our productivity with a precision that would make a logistics manager weep with joy. And yet, despite all of it, there's something I find genuinely hard to explain to people on the ground. It doesn't feel like suffering. It feels like purpose. Even the recycled water and the bungee cord running and the fact that I just confirmed on camera that I drink processed urine, all of it feels like it means something. Because it does. Most of us end up here, the cupola. 7 windows arranged in a dome pointing directly at the Earth below. It was added to the ISS in 2010, and I am convinced it is the most important piece of hardware on this station, not for science, but for sanity. We see 16 sunrises every 24 hours. 16 times a day, the Terminator line, the edge of shadow, races across the surface of the Earth, and gold light floods through these windows.
I have watched it hundreds of times. It has not gotten old once. From here, you can see entire weather systems, hurricanes the size of countries, the Sahara at sunset, orange and endless, the Pacific at night with bioluminescent plankton lighting up the dark water, the Himalayas casting shadows hundreds of miles long.
And cities, most beautiful of all, cities at night. every city a different pattern, a different fingerprint of humanity, glowing up at the dark. I email my family from here. I take photos. Sometimes I just look. It's a reminder, and I know this sounds like something printed on a motivational poster, but I promise it's just the truth, that everything we're doing up here is for what's down there. The science, the bone loss, the recycled water, the bungee cord running, all of it is making it more possible that humans will one day live somewhere other than that one irreplaceable, spectacular world. We are the Advanced Scouts, and the view from out here makes that feel worth it. I'm Commander Elias Thorne. Thanks for spending the day with me. I'll see you at 06.
Oh, and if anyone figures out how to get a real hot shower up here, please contact NASA immediately. A module, a toilet, something important. Good night.